small additions onto the contact areas. Again, control your moisture. If you're doing multiple builds, don't ever leave your crown on the tissue. Take the crown, put it on the stand and put it to one side until you're ready to put them in there. If you put them up here or you leave them on the tissue, they'll dry out more and you'll get more shrinkage. So just leave them on the stand, away from the heat, until you're ready to put them in the furnace. So when that's ready to go, put it on the stand, and away you go.
Alan, if you was working to a standard A3 shape,
yep.
Still put, if you had A3, would you still put those modifiers in? Would it change from A3?
It will, yeah, it will. If you're doing a standard A3 build-up, you'd use the chroma, the dentine, and I would use the S3 enamel, the standard enamel. You could use the modifiers palatally to bring a bit of warmth in the colour, but otherwise you'll start to change the basic hue of the crown. So, if the dentist just puts A3, they just get an A3. But obviously, when you start to, several of my dentists now email me photographs for every patient, in which case you begin to see crack lines, halo effects. That's when you start to change it and put it in.
For the benefit of the students who've never actually done this before, can we talk about sort of the amounts of porcelain, the measurements that we use for sort of, you know, to keep the wastage down to a minimum?
You've got, have you still got your scoops?
Yes, we have.
Right. So you will find, using these, one level scoop will do a crown. We'll do a standard crown. So you don't need to pile that on. One level scoop. And when, if you were to build up a bonded crown, a normal size, central, lateral, alright, the lowers you don't need as much, you can use half a scoop. So you don't want these piled high with porcelain. The liquid, once you've done your build up and the porcelain is in the furnace, you want to get a tissue and put it over your porcelain, because in a normal working environment you're going to get all kinds of dust and everything going on there. You fire your crown and it's got little black spots in it. The liquid you can use, if it dries out, you can use the liquid again, or you can just dampen it with water once it's mixed. Any more questions?
Is it important, the consistency of the mix?
No, it's important to get it to where you want. Some people like it really wet. Some people like a slightly drier build-up. I prefer a slightly drier one because you can always moisten it. But once you've built the crown, don't ever go over with a whipping brush to smooth the surface, because as you're building it, the crown is drying. So it's naturally drying and it's sealing the surface. If you use a whipping brush and smooth everything down, it brings the moisture back up and you'll end up with more shrinkage. And you can actually have cracks starting to come through it. So when you build the crown, there's no need to smooth everything off. You can just put it in there. You're going to do a second build anyway, so if it's a bit rough, it doesn't matter.
How long do you fire it for?
It's a set program. It fires 2 minutes preheat, so it stands at the bottom for 2 minutes. It then takes 3 minutes to go up, So that's 5. It then takes a minute to get up to temperature. The vacuum is released and it stays there for 2 minutes, and then it comes straight down.
And then it's finished?
And then it's done.
All finished?
No. Then you've got to grind it in and do your second bit up, because the porcelain will shrink. So you're always, if you're working to do nice work, you always do at least 2 fires. Some laboratories, if they're producing a lot of work, overbuild them hugely and then grind them all down. But by doing that, you lose all of the colour, all of the characterisation that you've just put in.
And then you've wasted...
You've wasted all your time.
Yeah. And materials.
And the materials. Because the dentist sends it back saying it's rubbish. So the second one, this one will shrink, and then all you do is you build it back out to your original size using the same porcelains, and you'll find, because you've only added small amounts, you don't get so much shrinkage. So after 2 fires, you grind it in, characterise it, glaze it, and that's it. That's finished.
You said about possible cracks. If this happened and you still have to do your build up, you just cover it up and try it again.
Depends how bad the crack is. If it splits right open, you're better off grinding it down and starting again. If it's a very small crack, you can just fill it, and you put a bit onto the crack and you vibrate it in before you do anything else, so it just fills where you've got the cavity, it just fills that cavity, and then you just carry on and build up as normal. If you're using certain alloys and you're using non-precious alloys, you want to put a slow cool. So what it will do is the furnace will come down. Once it's fired, it will come down, allow the temperature to drop to 870. It will then close up, and it will keep it in there for 3 minutes. It's temporary. So it's allowing the metal and the porcelain to cool at the same time. Because if it comes down, the metal will still be really hot, and the porcelain around it will cool quicker, and you get cracks and you get chips. So by allowing it to come down, the temperature drops, it goes back up, it allows the porcelain and the alloy to cool at the same time.